Namaste. Before you enjoy this episode, please subscribe to my channel and share with your friends. I have a very important guest today who you've met many times, not only with me but as a public intellectual, Mohandas Pai from Bangalore. Namaste, Mohandas ji.
Namaste.
So
Rajiv.
it's a pleasure to have you, and
Thank you very
always
much.
it's been an honor to sit down and discuss ideas with you.
Thank you.
Mohan is not only a corporate person with a tremendous success and a philanthropist, but a public intellectual with a lot of original ideas and very bold, courageous things to say about a range of issues from our culture, civilization, history, the idea of being Indian, economy, politics, or the whole range. So it's going to be a very lively, interesting discussion. And Mohan has said, ask me whatever you want, and I'll give you the answer that comes to mind. And that is the best part of him. He's very fresh and spontaneous. One of the things we're very proud of is that we have a lot of young people in this country. There's a lot of youth dividend, we say. But that dividend depends a lot on how we educate them. So the education system in the K through 12, school level, a lot of people criticize it. But even in higher education, we don't rank among the top 100 universities in the world. Why don't we rank, and what do you think is a reason for that?
Rajiv, let me first give you data.
Okay.
I know people criticize India and the Indian education system, but none of the people who criticize us have ever handled the scale that we do.
Okay.
We have 265 million young children in school, class 1 to 12. No country has 265 million children, including China. The United States certainly doesn't have it. Europe doesn't have it.
They don't even have that many people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now we have 800 universities, 51,000 colleges, 35 million young people in college with a gross enrollment rate of 24. That means only 24% of children in the young age group of 18 to 23 go to college. And this is growing at about 3.5%, will go to 70 million. I think at 35 million, we are probably the largest university system in the world. Maybe we have overtaken China or will overtake China. Every year, about 8 million young people graduate. Now, no country graduates that kind of students. Let's understand scale first.
8 million graduates.
8 million graduates every single year out of India. Now, no system graduates that much.
Very impressive, yes.
And no system has grown so fast. All right? So we have to take cognizance of that.
Yes.
That unless you manage a huge system like India and you manage it well and show results like India has done, if you just point fingers and criticize, I don't think it's worthy of criticism. Having said that, we need to answer the quality question. India has gone for scale to educate everybody, and quality has fallen behind. Now, if you look at the world ranking system, the top universities in the world 100 or the world 200 are primarily from Europe or America, or maybe some from China. Now, if you look at the rankings methodology, the highest quantum of marks is given for research and then for outreach. Now, they're all research-based universities funded largely by public sources or by private endowments, right? But India's education system is a teaching-based education system. We don't have large public source of funding for research. So they're all teaching institutions. The focus is on teaching, not on research. Maybe 50, 60 institutions are focused on research. After independence, Jawaharlal Nehru did what I think is a cardinal error in the higher education system by creating a set of national laboratories called the CSIR, Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, and the DRDO, Defense Research Development Organizations, separate from the universities. So a lot of money goes into defense research, a lot of money goes into other applied research to these institutions. I think between two of them, they probably get about maybe 15,000 crores, maybe $2.5 billion every single year. And the fruit of the research does not go to universities. They are ivory towers, they don't talk to other universities, students don't come and do research there, they don't get fellowships. Even though CSIR has now started to take 1,000 PhDs a year, try to be a university itself. So there's a diverse. Now, unless you solve this problem of public funding for research, align this these labs to universities, you're not going to solve the problem of being in the top 100 or the top 200. All right. And the next point, the last point is that public endowments have not come in because these are largely state universities, even though in the recent past we got private universities, and being state, they look down upon the private sector, they don't want to go reach out to them, they don't want to talk to them, they don't know how to market, they depend on government for most of the money. So there's an attitude problem. They don't even link up with the alumni. Alumni are ignored. Alumni don't sit on the board, even the government is trying to do now. So we got these two fundamental issues. But if you take teaching and the quality of teaching, the top 25% of these universities are very, very good. To give an example, we have 186,000 Indian students studying in the United States. 60% of them are doing graduate studies or PhD studies. 60%, some of the best universities in the world. 60% of all masters and PhDs in computer science are Asians. A large number of them are Indians. We have 400,000 Indian students studying in all universities. In the United States, we're the second largest ethnic group from outside the US after China to come and study in America. Now, they're all positives. How will our students get into the top US universities coming from an alien country unless they're very good and they've been taught well?
These are wonderful points. So first, the scale and the quantity must be taken into consideration, because after we got rid of the colonization, we have to first educate a whole lot of people. That's our first responsibility. As far as quality is concerned, one factor is that Nehru separated research from teaching. Whereas in the US, they are integrated, so young people get to be bits to research programs, and research programs can have a feeder, a pipeline of young people coming in. By separating these two was a very big blunder, and hopefully they will merge them.
Well, I don't know. They're not, because they become self-contained island, they're beyond redemption, so hopefully something will happen. Another issue about what Nehru did was not to give primary education to the mass of people. Our literacy today is about 75-77%. China is about 96%. When Mao came to power in 1949, he said women hold up half of heaven, educated China's women. And today you see the Chinese women are 65% in the workforce, India's women are 25% in the workforce. So our women are not educated as much as the men, and because they're not educated, there are more children and the population has grown. Now if you're educated the women, give them primary education, which is the first priority of a government, made them literate after independence. If Nehru had done that, we would be a very different country.
Right.
Population will be smaller, we won't have so much of poverty,
Right.
we'll be much more empowered,
Right.
we'll be a very different society. We are
Yes.
paying for Nehru's sins
Yes.
of omission,
Right.
for not having in the first decade educating and giving literacy to the Indian population, and what is more, allowing the private sector to do it.
Yes.
Because of this fetish for the commanding heights of the economy, the private sector, which was involved in education before the British came, and you know that we had a great education system.
Yes.
Macaulay's letters are evidence.
Yeah.
You know, we are not allowed to start schools. Even now, Tuji, because I'm a Hindu, I can't start a school. Only minorities have special right to start a school. Because I'm a Hindu, I'm deemed to be majority, the government discriminates against me, allowing me to start a school. Under Article 29 and 30, the minorities, including linguistic minorities, I'm a linguistic minority, we can start schools without great hassle. But if for a majority community, a Hindu, which is 79% of India's population, start a school, they harass you, because they only want government schools. The private ones are come up for other reasons, they come up, but we could have had much greater number of private schools by philanthropists in the first decade of independence, second decade. We could have done so much better.
So it's all ridiculous Nehruvianism, that, you know, certain people are allowed to start schools, certain people are not allowed to start school. In a country where we need more schools, more education, everybody should be able to start schools. If there's a demand and public wants to study there, they should be able to start schools. So these are some major reforms that are needed. Now let me ask you this: one of the good things in the US at least is that there can be a lot of private endowment of chairs and programs, and the government has nothing to do with it. So you could go to a university, negotiate a deal, set up a chair, fund it. So now in India, is it possible that Infosys can start an Infosys chair for research in IITs and get those students trained and all that, or is that not allowed?
It's possible. In Infosys done it, many people have done it. I think it's possible, but they're not doing it in a big way. I think it must be done in a big way. But Raji, please understand one thing. In the US, the alumni fund chairs.
Big
companies
time.
do.
Huge time, yes.
But here, for the alumni to fund chairs, the faculty should interact with the alumni.
Yes.
Go talk to them, market with them, reach out to them, invite them to join the board, participate. Here, these IITs and others don't talk to alumni in the same manner. Look at IIT Chennai. IIT Chennai has got a strong alumni program, with Junjunwala and others doing a wonderful work, and they've got a fantastic number of money coming in. If all IITs do that, all state universities do that, all the union institutes do that, it'll be fantastic. ISC can do much, much more. But they're not tuned to market. The faculty there want to be cloistered, they don't want to reach out. But now that Infosys heading HR and education research, as we call it, I never had Indian university come and approach us for chairs or whatever it is. We had Cambridge, we had the US universities and Europeans come every year and talk to us, say, why don't you collaborate? IISc came only twice in about 15 years. So there's a problem about the market. See, you have to reach out.
Yeah.
You have to interact.
Yes.
Because alumni love the university.
Yes, yes.
I think it's happening now in some way, but I think we need to do it much bigger.
Yes. And in the US, because they are not government officials, government employees, these university people, the university encourages them to go out and market and solicit. So you keep getting notices and solicitations, letters and all kind of programs to alumni to raise money. But I think in India, the funding comes from government. It's more about you have a job security, lifetime employment. So
Madhu, there's an attitude problem. Because these are all public sector. They have an attitude. Private sector is bad. I don't want to reach out to them. They make money. Profit.
Yeah,
it's a Nehruvian disdain
Yeah.
for economic well-being. They have this kind of a complex. They make money.
Yeah.
So there's an attitude problem.
Right.
But some of them are coming out. Some
Yeah.
of them are doing it. I hope they do more. And in fact, the best way to tackle this is to make sure that they get salary for only 10 months instead of 12 months as in the US. For 2 months they are on their own, they have to reach out, and the university focuses on outreach. I think we have to change the focus, make the universities more autonomous. Today the university is under the stranglehold of the government. Government dictates, government controls. Because in any system of higher education, government has 3 roles: policy maker, regulator, and provider of services. All the 3 roles are missed. They make policy not for the country, not for all of us, but for their own institutions, to protect them from anything, because they never hold them to account. As a regulator, they discriminate against the private sector. They make sure they don't get enough money for funding. UGC and AIC don't give money to the private sector like they give to the public sector. They discriminate and they put too many rules and regulations. But if a state university does badly, they do nothing to control it, nothing to do anything, because they don't want to do it. But the private sector, they go after them, they issue unnecessary regulation. As a provider of education, the government schools suck. 25-30% are good, 20% are passable, 45-50% are bad. But nothing happens to teachers, nothing happens, there's no consequence. Our children get bad education in government school, there's no consequence. All right, in the private sector, because you pay fees, if you don't get education, you don't go. And the private colleges, if you don't get good education, you don't go. But in the government universities, you get 0 marks, 0 pass, you see perfectly fine, nothing happens to you. Your salary comes, your pension comes, there's no action taken against you. So government as a provider of services, education services, is not held accountable like the private sector. So somehow this has become a Sarkari country, which owns this country, which dictates to all of us as citizens,
so some kind of
and they're beyond control and beyond accountability.
Right. Sarkari mediocrity. That's
Sarkari mediocrity.
That is very.
And then they have disdain for the private sector. I was in Delhi and they were telling me, that Halwai started a university. There is a Halwai who started a university. He's got 65,000 young people.
Yeah, so
they're coming voluntarily and they're paying money and fees.
Yeah.
That means they're getting something in return, they're getting good education, but the policy maker, देखो हलवाई ने शुरू किया है. What's wrong with the halwai doing it?
Yeah.
What's wrong with anybody doing it?
He's a smarter
we
guy
are
than
very
me.
proud.
Yeah.
We have a chai wala as a prime minister.
Yeah.
I am so proud that an ordinary person born to poverty who sold tea on the railway station has now become a prime minister by getting the votes of the people of this country, rather than being born to privilege, cloistered in New Delhi, living off public taxpayers' money.
Right.
Now, that's the country we are. It's a meritocracy. But we need the same meritocracy in higher education, which is not there.
Yeah, this is very good points, excellent points. So one of the things that we touched upon is large population. India thinks it's a population dividend, it's a great asset, we are younger population. I think that we should balance that against the liability and the population bomb, because it's also a burden to have so many people. 20 million people are supposedly reaching the job market age, not that many jobs being created. So are we headed for a kind of a population disaster? Because we're going on adding more people, but we're not having more land, we can't grow infinitely more food, and there's all kinds of issues with large populations. So what do you think of that?
Rajiv, let me give you data. Once again, let's go by data. Our population is about 1.3 billion, growing at 1.2% a year this year, maybe 1.3, 1.2. The fertility rate for India is 2.3, replacement rate is 2.1. All right? The whole of the South, Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Telangana, Kerala, Karnataka, fertility rate is only 1.7.
So
West Bengal is 1.6, Punjab is 1.6, Bihar is about 3.2, UP is 2.8, Rajasthan is 2.4, Madhya Pradesh is 2.4. In 1971, the South was 30% of India. In 2011, it's become 25% of India. So we have a problem between the North and the South.
Right.
Other South is more accomplished. South population not growing so much. Is that less than replacement rate?
Educated,
it is aging.
become
and
more
much
educated.
better educated, much better governed, and that's why the growth rate in the South is much higher than in the Cow Belt or the Ganges Belt, where there's a governance problem and many things else. Even West Bengal fertility rate is come down. I believe that our fertility rate will come to replacement in the next maybe 5-7 years.
Is it
of
related?
1.1.
Is it related to education or to income?
It is
or
related to
women,
education.
women's education?
It is related to education and income, because once you educate women, they don't have so many children. Now, if you look at data, I've seen some data. An uneducated woman has 5 to 6 children. A semi-educated woman has about 3 to 4. A matriculate woman has about 2 to 3, and a highly educated woman has just 1 child. The data is very evident. So when women get empowered, women are educated, they economically want to go and work, they have lesser children.
Right.
And today, a child is very expensive. If you want to give a child good education, it's going to cost you 1 crore. From the time the child is born till the child gets a degree and goes for a job, it's going to cost you 1 crore. It's a huge, huge investment. And subconsciously, I think many of us understand that, especially women, they don't want to bear the child and carry on and spend money on the child and spend time on the child. They're having lesser children. So that is working. Economic growth is the best thing. Women's education is the best thing. Even for minorities who tend to have larger families, because they're 10 years behind. If you look at disaggregated data, the SC/ST community and the minorities are 10 years behind in terms of children. It's more a function of women's education. Women not getting a good education, women marrying earlier. And
So
women,
a great long-term investment for India.
best long-term investment is educate all the young girls,
Yeah.
give them an education till maybe a master's degree, so they marry much later,
Yes.
and you'll remake a country.
Yes.
That's what I'm telling
I
you.
think this is the right.
first decade after independence, Nehru's fallacies were not developing literacy, not educating a woman, not doing what Mao did.
Right.
Women hold up half of heaven. And now you see China, $12.5 trillion economy. Now, we have to go back and find a reason, but it's not too late. Let's do it now. If we do it, India will be a changed country. Now, you spoke about the demographic dividend. I'm really worried for my country,
Yes.
and let me give you data. For the last 30 years, India has been producing 25 million babies. You can verify the data. The census gives a population every 10 years. You are 71, 81, 91, 2001, 2011. You take the last 30 years, opening balance, closing balance, take the average, add the death rate, you get 25 million. The data is there. 1 million die before the age of 5. Infant mortality is 45 per thousand per year and all that. So 24 million attain the age of 21 every year. And will attain the age of 21 for the next 20 years. They're already born. Out of that, I reckon personally, 30% don't want jobs or get married. I maybe go into agriculture, because agriculture occupies 45% of India's working population. So I would reckon 30%. So we need 17 million jobs, 16 million jobs a year. We are producing 6 to 7 million jobs. The data for the jobs is available in the government. I'm working on a report for that. So 10 million people have not got good jobs for each of the last 10 years.
Very serious matter.
Good jobs means getting more than 10,000 rupees. They got 2,000, 3,000 or something. They've not got good jobs, maybe out of which half of them are educated. Half of them are 3/4 educated. And for the next 10 years, we're going to have the same 10 million, because of jobs are getting automated, because things are getting better. Things are getting very different. So by 2025, we'll have 20 crore people in the age group of 21 to 45 who are educated, who are literate, will not have good job because the economy can't support them.
That's very
It's a
close.
lost generation.
Yes.
So we are in the midst of a demographic disaster. There is no demographic dividend.
Yes, I
And
think
that
this
is what you're seeing, Rajiv,
Right.
in the Gujar agitation, the Jat agitation, the Patidar agitation, the Tamil problem in Jallikattu, the Maratha problem. All these agitations are there because these people have come out. They want job, there are no jobs, and the education is of poor quality, but they're literate, but they got high aspiration, there are no jobs. Are jobs giving them the money they want?
Yeah, and I as a Delhi wala, I can tell you a lot of the crime in Delhi is youth from surrounding areas like Haryana and various places who are at that age bracket. They don't have jobs. They come, they are drunk, they are doing all kind of things. So there is a large crime issue.
Our political leaders don't recognize the issue. They still talk about demographic dividend. There's a disaster happening.
that
Please,
is-
for God's sake, take it.
Yeah.
In the South, it is much less.
Yes, yes.
Because in the South, the number of babies produced produce is coming down, they're getting better education, there's higher economic growth in the south, that the large service industry in the south is happening. In the north, the middle belt, the service industry paying good jobs is very little, manufacturing has not been happening there, infrastructure is poor, governance is poor, and there you have a major challenge.
And I think the government is in denial mode, because if they admit there's a problem, then they are expected
No,
to
government
solve
is
it.
denial because government doesn't look at data.
Yeah.
I have not heard any bureaucrat look at data and analyze and take a decision. They don't look at data. I wrote to Prime Minister Manmohan Singh about 4 years ago saying that, look, the data about formal employment is there with you, have a look, because there can't be jobless growth. India has grown at 8.8% a year in dollar terms between 1991 till 2017, from $275 billion to $2.25 trillion. The data is there. It's 8.8% CAGR. All right? Now, when you grow 8.8% CAGR, jobs should be at least 2%, 3%, right? 3% of population. 3% of population jobs should be there. They said jobless growth is impossible. There are 100 million people on payroll today. In the formal sector, in all the sector, including government. Government doesn't have the data. They don't look at data. They don't analyze. They don't try to find out how many people are coming off the land who want jobs, in which district of the country, what are the internal migration taking place, where they're getting educated, how they're coming out, what are the jobs being produced, where are the jobs being produced, how to give them the jobs, how to skill them. They're all shooting in the dark.
So, is media doing a good job of spreading awareness?
No, I think media is more concerned about sensationalism, because they will say Mohan Bhagwat said that all people, including Muslims, are Hindus in this country, then blah, blah, blah. The whole thing blows up. It's totally irrelevant. He's a free citizen. He can say what he wants. Who cares?
Right.
What we care about is, how is the future for our children being made? Do our children have a future? Is government delivering the services that all of us required? Okay, are honest taxpayers being rewarded? Are cronies being rewarded? These are large governance issues which we concern, because they impact you and me. They impact our children's future. They impact our quality of right now. Why is there so much of a traffic jam in Delhi? Why is the air in Delhi so foul?
Right.
Why are people's lives coming down by 9 years because of foul air in Delhi? Do you know that?
Yes.
People's lives are down by 9 years. And now UNICEF says a child who lives in Delhi and takes in the smog will suffer the brain development. Are we going to create a generation of morons in Delhi and other places where there's high inflation? I'm worried for our children. Now, these are serious issues.
These are very serious issues.
These are something to occupy political leaders.
Yes.
Instead of that, they're talking about some apology for some statement of somebody in a political, shut down parliament, debate it because they want this. I don't understand these people.
So, this is a very important point. Stop talking about the demographic dividend, we got the youngest population. Talk about whether these young people have jobs, whether they have good health care, whether the pollution levels are going down, the quality of life going up, whether they are competing in proper ways, world class in terms of merit. Those are the benchmarks which I don't think our politicians are talking about. They don't want to face it, because if they face it, they'll have to do something about it. They don't want to do something about it. They don't have solutions. So the short-term attitude, the short-term mentality is to keep praising that we are doing very well. We are doing well.
But Rajiv, this government has done a lot of work, Rajiv. We should be factual. This government has done a lot of work. But the fact is, we need this debate in civil society.
Yes.
All of us as citizens must be bothered about this kind of a debate. Now look at this funny thing. One person in a remote corner of this country, in Muzaffarnagar, gets lynched. None of us know where the place is. Okay, is the mob goes and lynches him? Is a crime? The mob or the people who did that should be punished. But suddenly there's a clarion call from Lutyens India, Lutyens Delhi, and Lutyens, all these people, they are saying we have become intolerant. I'm living in Bangalore, I'm in the south of India. How did I become intolerant? What have I got to do with it? It's a crime.
Right.
In my state of Karnataka, ruled by the Congress, a lady journalist got shot. It's a murder. Now, we must be concerned about this murder, the safety of a citizen, and the perpetrators should be brought to justice. Suddenly, it becomes an ideological fight. Somebody in the right has done it, something has done it. A great historian takes it and decides already decided who is the killer. Without any proof. And they all glow around, have a big position. But even now, justice has not been done. The killers have not been identified. Nobody is held to account. So this is, the intelligentsia lives in a sham thing where the real issues are not being debated. They're taking ideological positions. But the big issues are jobs for our young people, improvement in the quality of life, honesty in probity, delivery of justice. There is no justice in our society. There's no justice. It takes 15 years, 20 years. If you're a poor person, you're put into jail. I worked with Amnesty to build a report. 50 to 60% of under trials in our prisons have completed the term for which they've been put into jail. And there's no justice. Who cares? Nobody cares. Nobody cares about all this because everybody, one murder somewhere, we have become intolerant, one award democracy, one this thing, create controversy, cure the pitch for India, and then many economists who left India go out and write all kind of nonsense and tweet all kind of stuff without looking at all these issues. Now look, we have to get our act together, citizens, define for this country what are the important things.
Yes.
The important things are improvement in the quality of life, creating an economy which produces jobs for the young people, where individual safety and individual freedom is cherished, where there is justice for all, and the bare necessities of life are available for everybody.
Yes.
Now you can have your ideological divisions, but these are large issues where everybody's property and life and liberty is secure. There is rule of law. There is justice for all. That's what you must ask. But once you get into an ideological fight, everything becomes me too, me too, me too. You are wrong, I am wrong, you are wrong, I am wrong, and it gets diverted. So I think the debate has to improve.
Yeah. I think this is a huge problem for media. Media should, because they are the sort of voice of conscience, and they are the ones keeping the public informed, and they are kind of sensationalizing the wrong issues, raking up inconsequential matters or less important matters, while the really big problems facing society are not being analyzed, because they can't be analyzed in a flippant way with sensationalism. They require deep scholarship, investigative journalism. So the media needs to invest in investigative journalism.
Yes, they should do. And also, people should understand there is no country like India. We have 1.3 billion people. We have 29 states. Each one may be larger than any state in Europe.
Right.
All right?
Right.
So they are countries on their own. It's
Right.
not one country
Yeah.
in the way that you look at it, right?
I mean, UP is 220 million.
Yeah.
So
Any event-
England, France, and Germany combined.
Yeah, any event happening there doesn't mean the whole country is affected.
Yeah,
To blow it up and say India is this, India is that,
Right.
all kind of rubbish.
Right.
We must understand this is a highly complex society. It's a very large country. So many things happen in this country. We must focus on the right issues, and you must not demonize India. You must not hurt the brand of India and suddenly blacken people's face and do everything and write some rubbish and in the New York Times or Washington Post or newspapers and try to create a negative image of India. We must instead focus our attention on the right issue, debate them, come out with solutions, because we owe it to our children. We owe it to this country.
Very good, very good. So now what I want to discuss is IITs and other technological institutions. If you look at, we were talking earlier about rankings and all that. One of the good things in the US is that these technical institutions are also kind of incubators of technology startups. So Stanford started so many things, MIT, Princeton, all these places. Do you think that's happening in India to a sufficient extent?
It's happening in Chennai. I mean, if you
Okay.
go tomorrow to Chennai for your Indology conference, you'll find the incubator done by Jhunjhunwala is fantastic. They got more than 250 companies. It's happening in Mumbai. It's happening in Delhi. It's happening. Rajiv, I was part of the Kakurkar committee set up by government to look at autonomy for IITs, and we recommended 100 institutions like IITs. Of course, many of the IIT directors said quality will suffer. They got this fetish about quality by squeezing supply. No country squeezes supply to improve quality.
Right.
We have 1.3 billion people. We need 100 institutions of the type of IIT Chennai to grow in this country, so our young people have got good quality. If 100 institutions take 1,000 intake every year, we'll have 100,000 high quality engineers.
Right.
That's what we need.
Right.
But we need them. They say
more
there are no
supply.
faculty. There are enough faculty. We can get them from overseas. It's not a problem. The problem will solve itself in 10 years. So I think we need good institutions, and the institutions require autonomy. Some of them are doing well, but you must give them the freedom. They're constricted, they're not able to access fund, government is not giving them enough money, government is not allowing them the freedom to do it. So I think right now we need reforms in education to do what you want. If you want a Stanford in India, we need reforms, and the biggest reforms is for the top 100 universities, give them full administrative, academic and financial authority. Give them power. And the government wants to fund them, give them funding per student. Per student. Hold them to account. And in case they don't perform and have a benchmark in terms of whatever quality you do, don't cut the funding. Let the faculty lose the job. Who cares?
Right.
So students can go elsewhere.
Right.
Punish them. But there's no punishment. Because today in the public sector, Rajiv, will be surprised, in the government, when you get a job, you get a pension for the day one, because you're not accountable for a job. You don't work and then nothing happens to you.
Yeah.
Very rarely you get sacked.
Yeah.
From the day you come at 25 till the day you retire at 60 until the day you pass away at maybe 85, for 60 years you and I, our taxes are used to pay a pension.
Right.
Because where's the accountability?
Yeah. This is pretty impressive that India has continued this old system left by the British I guess, the civil service and so on. And we are independent for almost 70 years, but we haven't changed this to a more privatized or free market kind of a mentality.
See, Rajiv, it's not about public, private, anything. It's about outcome, Rajiv. Because we get stuck in these labels: public, private, semi-public, semi-private, public, and all that nonsense. We must say outcome. Are these institutions, whether set up by the private sector or public sector, delivering the outcome they require? If they're not delivering, make them accountable. If they're bad, shut them down.
Yes.
Air India, it doesn't matter if the public or private is bad, shut it down. Why pour money into Air India? Right? So now, if you're government, you get protection because you're the holy cow. Our taxpayers' money are used by a representative to keep bad institution afloat because they think they come to power to keep this institution and protect them against us. Is our money, they're our representatives, they use our money to keep bad institution afloat and save them from accountability from us. I never heard of this distorted, bigoted logic anywhere in this country. I mean, we need more democracy, we need more freedom, we need government to do the job, what it is. If you look at classical political theory, Rajiv, it teaches you a government is required to protect the external boundaries of the country, to maintain internal law and order, to deliver justice to the citizens, to maintain the currency, and to maintain the relationship with foreign countries, right? These are 5 things.
Right.
Now, external boundaries, we are relatively safe, but the terrorists keep coming from Pakistan.
Right.
Internal law and order, we don't have enough policemen, our lives are not secure. There's a failure there, part failure. Justice is not delivered at all, 15, 20 years. I don't know what kind of justice system is this, right? Some of the High Court, Supreme Court judges want to run cricket. They want to run other organizations rather than focusing on justice. I think there's something that exercise restraint. And if you look at currency, well, then a decent job, at least we had demonetization, currency has been cleaned up. Foreign affairs, our neighbors used to hate us, now we are much better, at least the world respects us, there's some advancement. The government must know the government jobs, not run a coal ministry, not run a steel ministry, not run a huge education apparatus and start providing services. Services can be provided for everybody. And if government wants to provide services, because some people can't afford to pay, you rather give them money to pay. Because Rajiv, poverty in the simplest definition is lack of purchasing power.
Right.
I am poor because I don't have purchasing power. You are rich because you got purchasing power. Now you give me purchasing power, I'll decide for myself, I'll educate my children, I'll build a house, I'll live the way I want. Because I don't have purchasing power, I'm helpless. Now because I'm helpless, government says I will give you all this and hold me to the mercy of a lower level official who is the biggest oppressor, biggest tyrant in this country and make me into a beggar.
Yeah.
Now this is crazy. Instead of running all these services, if services are available, let other people provide. And if I have the buying power, I can go to a variety of providers.
Yes.
Now, because I don't have the buying power, I go only to government and they harass me, they make me like a beggar, they destroy my confidence, they destroy my personality, they destroy me as a citizen and make me a beggar.
Right.
Now, this is unheard of. This is not democratic. So the basic tenets we have to rediscover and fight back to say that government should be of the people for this. You should not, I'm important as a citizen. This country is mine. Now, it's all got mixed up. It's all got mixed up. Because our intelligentsia, our people don't debate these real issues.
There is more interesting information coming up. In the next segment, Mohandas Pai will explain the relationship between culture and economic empowerment.